Hello, Emily here. Welcome to the official episode 2 of Just Ask Em podcast. Super excited to just start. Starting is usually the hardest part, so to kind of just be here already it's exciting. I'm looking forward to what comes out of this new journey. Just looking forward to connecting to new people, spreading the word about people. There's just such a power in networking, making those connections, and literally just like simply talking to people. My goal for this season is really just to bring more collaboration to Buffalo than competition. So there's just way too much talent here, which is great. But if we came together and just, work on different things and just, like I said, just literally collaborate, like how powerful we can be and just, we can move forward as a city all together. So today is just a little more about myself. I kind of just reached out to some friends and listeners that I have as of now, and kind of just, took some questions of, about me, experiences, where I come from, my background, what I do, what I don't like doing, that sort of thing. So I got a few questions that I'm just going to talk about on today's podcast. I'm real excited about one of them because my passion is genuinely business. I love business. I love professionalism. So definitely looking forward to that question. But one of the questions I got was from my friend Jamel from Tennessee, the place that I had the honor of hosting a kid's birthday, which was absolutely amazing. Sometimes we limit ourselves on what we think we're capable of, and literally we got to stop putting ceilings over us. So that was super exciting to do. So he asked what places I like to eat or go to in Buffalo. Well, as far as food places, that's one good thing that Buffalo has a lot of. If anybody knows me, I'm greedy, and food is most definitely the way to my heart. I love sushi. Of course, I love my Spanish food. I have to say some of my favorite sushi places would definitely be, I like the Wasabi on Elmwood. Taisho Bistro. I used to go to the one on Sheridan, which was really good. Lately, I've gone to the one on Hurdle a couple times, and they're pretty good too. La Flor Bakery on Niagara Street is definitely my favorite these days for Spanish food. What else? Johnny D's is really good. What I like about Johnny D's is you kind of have the option of like the nice fancy steak dinner, but you can also get like a salad or like a burger. So I love a multi-purpose place where you can kind of just have a little bit of everything. So Johnny D's downtown Buffalo is a favorite. If you're looking for kind of like a simpler, smaller bite, House of Charm on Washington. I love their charcuterie board. They got good paninis, just nice little handhelds, that sort of thing. So definitely it depends on the mood that I'm in, kind of just what I'm in the mood to eat. Today I went to Saika Sushi I said that so Spanish. It is on Dick Road in Depew, but they're really good because it's you pay one price and then you can kind of get whatever you want on the menu. So that's kind of nice. So that was pretty good. But as far as, and then let's see what else. I guess I'm usually always like working, that sometimes I forget to take a break. But as far as like fun, Deca Lounge is pretty good. That's on Delaware, downtown Buffalo. Definitely love me a lounge vibe. They got a nice bar, good drinks, very chill, nice happy hour. So Deca Lounge is definitely another place I like to go. But yeah, so those are a few options as far as like places I like to go and eat in Buffalo. Buffalo's really big on eating. Wintertime keeps you in the house. Then we got Jamari from Buffalo. He said, what do I like to do on my free time? Well, my free time is limited because I work a lot. I love working. Sometimes I'm borderline workaholic, but I'm young. I don't got kids except my diva dog who's not here today to interrupt or bark back when I try to make her quiet. But I like hanging when I'm not busy. I've made it a little more important to hang with family these days. Just you got to carve that time out. We're forever going to be busy. So, if it's, parents or your family or siblings, like just, you got to carve out the time. You have to, because next thing you know, you're just missing out on moments and being able to just make really good memories and just moments. The holidays, they only come once a year. So I feel like getting better with carving that time out has become a little more important to me. What else? I could say I like shopping, but I get really tired when I'm in the mall for too long. So I like house stuff. So I'll go to like Home Goods. And a lot of the time I'll go over the border in Canada. I love escaping to Canada and it's so close to me, which is really nice. But yeah, I'm kind of chill. Like I'm really down for like a lot. I'm not picky. I love adventure. I love getting up and out. I like staying active. I like discovering new things. I love exploring. I have absolutely no sense of direction, but I impress myself where like if I find a place that I want to check out or go to, if my GPS can get me there, I'm going. Without the GPS, I get lost 4 minutes away from home, but we're not going to talk about that. So that's that. But yeah, I love traveling. I did a little traveling early this year just to kind of prove to myself that if I really want something, I can do it. And I got a taste of it. So now like the next thing is I really want to get better with better planning, bigger trips, and kind of just not being afraid of taking that step to be like, oh my God, I've never been to this place, or like that cost seems like kind of excessive. So yeah, like I said, traveling is really big on the list for me. That's definitely one of the things I want to get a little better at. And then this was my favorite question. This is from my friend David, aka Zaz. His question was, or statement, and wanting my opinion, the art of entrepreneurship. Everybody wants to run a business or consider themselves an entrepreneur, but never even balanced a cash register. Is being a boss or entrepreneur something that people have in them, or are they being trendy because that's what the world says? A 9-to-5 is looked at as flawed almost nowadays. Yet people undermine what transferable skills you can gain from having a standard job. People are being influenced in ways that they can't even match up to. Everyone wasn't a king and queen. Some families come from blacksmith, carpentry, hell, even gestures. They had a job to entertain. That's a lot of information. It's a weighted question, but it's an amazing question. A lot of the time, I feel like people let the American dream or society dictate, what's the right thing to do or how you should do it. Or even if you're not happy doing it, just do it until you retire to have like a living, which I understand to a point. But to force yourself to do something that you're either unhappy or miserable doing for 8 hours a day, 30 to 40 hours a week, for 30 to 40 years, just who would want to wake up in a happy mood with a good attitude doing that? Like, seriously. So you kind of just sit back and wonder who comes up with these rules, who comes up with this book or this guidebook of, well, this is the way to do it. At the end of the day, your story is not everyone's story. Your journey and your process is not everybody's journey and process. And it's not to say that along the way, you can't accept people's advice, wisdom, experiences that they've been through. Because that's literally like one of the things that made me want to start this podcast, is because of the amount of experiences that I've had. I've fell on my face. I've ran up against walls when it comes to family, relationships, work, just figuring out who you are, what do you want to do, what does life look like for you. And at the same time too, I think people get stuck on thinking, oh, you'll have till 40, 50, 60, 70. Not everybody gets that opportunity. So it's not a bad thing to think or plan ahead But at the same time too, like, what if you died tomorrow? What if you died in the next year? What if you died in the next 5 years? When you look back on your life, what would you have been able to reflect on in your life? You know, what legacy did you leave behind? What can you say? Oh, I experienced that, you know, I took the brave move of, you know, being able to do that or take that trip or, you know, go for that thing that I didn't know if it was going to work out or not. And even for the things that didn't work out, I don't always like to call them mistakes, but more so learning lessons, because at the end of the day, if you don't figure out what the wrong thing is to do, if you don't mess up, how will you ever know what not to do versus, okay, well, I tried that, so if I do it the opposite way, maybe that'll work out better for me. Like, that's literally living life and figuring it out. So with that being said, when I say Jane of all trades, like, that's literally not an exaggeration. I've had my friends call me like Jamaican because the amount of jobs I have at the same time. And apparently that's like part of their culture and what they like to do. So my first job ever was at a daycare, oddly enough. I love kids, but I love the ones that are not mine and that I can give back. Would I be a good mom? Absolutely. Do I want to be? No. My dog is enough and she keeps me busy enough, as well as my pockets working. And I have worked everything from retail to collections. I've been an admin, I've been receptionist, I've done front desk at a hotel. I've been a medical assistant in several different specialty offices like chiropractic, pain management, colorectal, sleep medicine, and primary care. I have the luxury of being bilingual and fluently in Spanish. Oddly enough, I did not grow up speaking Spanish. I learned mine. My grandmother on my dad's side that was her primary language. So anytime we were around her, we were kind of forced to learn it or understand it. And then I always took Spanish class since 5th grade. But so yeah, my Spanish is learned. I like to think it's pretty well spoken. So I kind of had that upper hand with certain jobs and being able to say that I was bilingual, and it was a benefit, you know, when it was required. But and then I even was a dental assistant. And that's just the half of them. And then I was a design consultant with a company. And then fast forward all of that, I reflected every time I was at a job. I'm a very fast learner. I'm a visual learner. And in order for me to stay interested, I have to be stimulated. Like, it has to be interesting to me. It has to grab my attention. It could be ADHD, or I just have this super hyper focus where I need very detail-oriented things. I work very well under high pressure. So I think that out of all those work experience, it helped me to learn about me, who I was, what makes me tick, what my triggers are, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, just altogether what my niche is. But my last recent role was that as a design consultant. I loved it. I loved what I did. I love anything customized and personalized. I love the aspect of the clientele, being able to just speak with the client, listen to what they wanted, and then legit design it and make it a reality. Like, it was one of the most rewarding jobs ever. The only downfall was it was commission only. These days, that's so hard, you know, that's very difficult to live on if you don't have that, you know, financial safety net or consistent support. So that was that dream job that it just wasn't my time to keep. But I really did enjoy it. So what I did with that was, because I was just tired of moving on to the next thing because, well, that didn't work, that didn't work. Because what it turns into is just this chase. And then you kind of just end up tripping over your feet and you're like, what am I even chasing? So I had to just take a step back. I said, I'm after 30, you know, thankfully I don't have kids, you know, what I have to maintain in life is less stressful and much easier than most, you know, not taking away at all. But, you know, I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed to be where I am at the age that I am. So then I just had to really figure out, what do the next 5 to 10 years of life look like for me? And kind of just putting that into perspective of, I'm tired of just starting over, not feeling like something is mine, kind of just always feeling misplaced. Like, corporate America ain't it for me. I'm sorry. Corporate America is not it for me. I've tried it. I've done it time and time again. I said, let me just keep trying. Like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And what that ends up becoming is you kind of just, you sell yourself short. You place these ceilings over you for the safety net job. Well, this is consistent. Well, this is that. Is the uncertainty or the risky option of entrepreneurship scary, stressful, very difficult? Absolutely. I will not sit here and tell you like, oh yeah, I just like had it all figured out when I decided, this and that. Not at all. Not at all. It is very difficult because depending what you're doing, you are literally creating something from nothing. You are literally starting something from the very bottom. Most of the time when you walk into a corporate job, everything is set up. You don't have to think about HR. You don't have to think about payroll. You don't have to think about tax forms. You don't have to think about the supplies that the business requires, the clocking in system, the time system, all that. You don't have to think about that. So yeah, naturally that's easy. You walk in, you clock out, you get your money and you go home. And that works for some people. Sometimes that works. It does what it needs to. And that is perfectly fine for other people. It just wasn't it for me. And I knew that, but I had to literally keep it real with myself. Like, you're not happy doing hundreds of different types of jobs. So it's just like, if I'm not going to be the one to stick with it and just, okay, do the American dream, work the job 30, 40 years, have my 401k, retire, boom. Okay. I knew that wasn't me. So I said, I had to come to the reality of, if that's not going to be my reality, what is going to be my reality? And I remember it clear as day. I was sitting at the dining room table and I said, I know I have good ideas. And so many jobs that I've been through, managers say, open door policy. And then when you suggest, or when you do have a suggestion that might improve the workflow or the daily practices in that job, it just falls on deaf ears. It just depends. You don't always get lucky with that amazing management that actually listens to you and wants to make their employees happy. Even though the reality is, as an office manager, in my opinion, you should have a ground and base idea of what every single person or position in your office does. Because how can you be a good office manager if you don't even have any clue how that business is being run? But that's, what do I know? So that's number one. But if you don't have happy employees, especially if your business is built on whether it's clients, customers, or patients, if you don't have happy employees, that's going to reflect on the service given to those customers, clients, and patients. So what I kept running into is, this isn't going to change if it doesn't change from the top. It doesn't matter how good of a mindset you have. It doesn't matter how positive an attitude you can have. It doesn't matter if there's 2 or 3 of you that might have the best teamwork possible. But as long as the top is not in agreement with you, the rest will continue to fall apart. It'll continue to be toxic environments. It'll continue to be catty. They'll continue to be gossip, and just an environment that is just not healthy. So when people say, oh, just suck it up, or just, it's a job for now, this and that. So what you're telling me is to sacrifice my mental, my emotional, my peace, my sanity, just to get $1 to pay my bills and maybe be left with something after, and maybe have a job that lets me accumulate a slightly decent amount of PTO so I could hopefully take a few days off. That's not, I'm sorry, but that's not life. Like, if you got families and stuff, that might be a little different, because that sacrifice requires you better have, a consistent income, or if you're the man of your house, you got to provide for your family. But that's also an understanding that you decide to sign up for. So with that being said, I'm like, I'm free. I don't got like the responsibility of children. I got different responsibilities, but I don't got kids. Like, I'm not really like providing for anybody. So it's honestly like a golden ticket opportunity that a lot of people probably wish that they had now looking back on their lives, because when you get a certain age, when you have certain responsibilities, you can't decide, okay, I don't want a kid anymore. I want to live my best life again. Like that just doesn't happen. So now when you're a person who kind of, your cards are dealt, you kind of have no choice but to do what you have to do to make a living, take care of the business that you decided to sign up for. So for me, I'm like, I got a golden opportunity here. So what am I doing with it? So I decided to take the brave step May of 2023. And we have so many resources at our hands. And like a lot of the time, we're not doing nearly what we should with them. We got access to smartphones. These smartphones are such an incredible tool. So besides social media, you got YouTube, you got Google, you have so many avenues to literally find information for free. So I said, I need to do something with these resources that I literally have at my fingertips. I decided to figure out, okay, what does it take to get an LLC? What I learned was a DBA is doing business as. That's great, but the only risk is, depending the business that you have, God forbid you ever get sued by somebody, they can sue you and get to your personal assets. Then I'm like, okay, so an LLC, a limited liability corporation, is much better, because God forbid I ever am in a situation of getting sued, they can't go any further than my business. Not that if they tried to get my personal assets, I mean, they'd probably end up owing after all of that. But, just being knowledgeable of those things, if you are trying to seriously start a business that's not going to be a fly-by-night business and it's not going to fail overnight, those details from the beginning are, yes, that important. So I decided to start, my LLC May of 2023. That was Ems Escapes and Events. Some of you might follow me and be familiar with it. And it's a small event planning business. And I do emphasize small event planning business because obviously I'm a one-woman show. I will just be coming up on 2 years, May of this year. And for me, I feel very proud for what I have accomplished so far. I did not take out any business loans. I didn't apply for any grants. I really haven't had any, major donations to build my business. Because I already got my personal debt. Like, what do I look like getting into more debt, not even knowing if this business idea was going to work yet or bring me the, finances that I knew it could or would. And one of the biggest lessons of business that I have learned recently is it does not at all happen overnight. It doesn't matter how organized you are, which I very much am. It doesn't matter how much you have in order to this and that. Building your own business, like they say, it takes about 3 to 5 years depending what you're doing. And you don't even start really profiting after the 3rd year. And that mindset and understanding was so important, because I was just like, well, I just want this. And if I would have kept rushing, like, I would have failed. So I had, I got everything in order. I reached out to BuffSafe for the SBA program, the Small Business Association. Incredibly helpful. No cost to me. So the internet figured out how to get me started with the LLC. I used LegalZoom. Phenomenal, simple, easy, just very easy. They take care of so much for you, the main parts of it. They get you everything set up. You get something with your business name on it. All the articles of organization comes in a nice binder. Everything you need to be registered by the state. So that was just like so helpful. Then the Buff State program, I was able to have kind of like a one-on-one mentor. He helped me, if you needed anything as far as like web design or getting set up. Any type of marketing material, they would voluntarily direct you, and you would have meetings with those people who specialize in those areas. And then after that point of really getting the base set, my biggest thing was, because the amount of customer services I had experienced in my past, I used to look at it like a negative thing. Cause like, oh, I only have jobs for 3 months, for 6 months, a year, anything over a year was good. But I was just like, I just wasn't happy. So how am I going to perform my best in an environment that isn't feeding me in return, or motivating me, or giving this mindset of, oh, okay, I can do this, but it's going to encourage me to grow or do something more? Like, that just wasn't it for me. So I had to develop such a creativity and belief that I knew I had a good idea, but it was going to take time to perfect my craft, to be able to execute and make clients understand and believe that I have a good service, I have a good product. How is this product going to benefit them, and why should they invest their time and energy on me and their money? So everything, and because I chose not to do the route of, okay, getting money, this and that, because in the beginning stages, you get the money. Do you even know what you need the money for? So the type of industry that I was doing, I said, even if I had money, I don't even know what I would use it for. So I got the groundwork situated. I said, let me get, what services am I providing? How am I pricing those services out? I had to think about it just a little extra because what I do is customized and personalized. I'm not crazy about corporate America. I'm not crazy about templates. I'm not crazy about, the events that are like 400 or 500 people, because it's just a job, because there's so much going on and it's like you can only focus on so much. So right now in this time, I enjoy the custom personalization and just the more intimate events. For me, I think it's just an opportunity to kind of just be able to focus on making people being seen. The way, as hard as it is to make money these days and hold on to the money that you make, because the economy is what it is, the last thing somebody wants to do is just be dropping like thousands, and then it's just like, oh, okay, it came and went. But what was memorable about that experience? What was it about that company that you chose to work with that left you with that impression? Whereas, okay, the next event that I have, I know I'm going to want to call that next person up. Or if I'm having a conversation with somebody and something about an event or, hosting comes up, what impression did I leave with you that I'm going to be the first thing that comes to your mind, that you're referring and recommending me to your friends and family? And a lot of the time, like these days, everything is so rush. It's a social media world. It's the next best thing. It's the social anxiety of the most popular, the most this, the most updated, this and that. Listen, it ain't for me. I adapt. I am on social media for my businesses because it is the way of the world. But I am old school. I am like the type of person where when we still did paper in the offices, and then they jumped to EMR. So for me, I like a face-to-face interaction. I like to sit here and be like, if you're my client, I want to give you quality time and undivided attention to truly understand your needs and what it is that you are expecting from me. Because at the end of the day, you're paying me. I don't have a business without my clients. And that's what always drove me crazy when I was working in corporate America. Like, okay, you're a big corporation. Okay, yes, you have all these offices. You're going to stay in business one way or another because it's probably something that, a person requires. Okay, that's great. But why not take the extra mile and put a little emphasis in having empathy if you're in the medical field, genuinely caring what somebody has to say instead of just treating them like a number or like you're just a patient or, not addressing them the way they should be. Like a simple, hey, I'll be right with you, or hey, how are you? Hi, how can I help you? It's just a world of difference. Like I will most definitely have a whole separate podcast episode on customer service, because if you are over the age of 30, you know what customer service used to be and what it is now is atrocious. That's the short version of it, but that's another episode. So my point is, if you don't have happy employees, how do you expect those interactions and experiences to be pleasant? So now there's a difference when a customer, client, or patient is walking through that door. Are they even looking forward to being there, or they're just coming because it's a service that they need and they have no other choice? That shouldn't be the way of the world. And that's become so common, and it's just brushed off, and it's just not made of importance. And it's kind of just like shame on humanity for that. We're supposed to be loving and kind to one another. Like life and just existence is difficult enough. Why would the very people who are supposed to support one another and come together and be kind and motivate each other and uplift each other and fuel each other's energy, when one person's energy might be less than the other, why are we knocking that down? Why are we tearing that down? Why are we challenging that? Why are we making that more difficult in a negative way? Like, and it's become so unnoticed. People are oblivious to it. Like that is a major problem. If you travel outside of Buffalo, if you travel outside of America, when you expose yourself to these different cultures, these different traditions, and the air is different, the people's demeanor, the environment, the energy, how people address you with just basic manners and respect, and then you come back to where you are on a daily basis and you realize how non-existent that is, that's a problem. And the fact that it just continues is even more bothersome. So all those things, the point of all those things is, those are the things that fueled me to genuinely become an entrepreneur. And I knew it was going to be hard because I'm like, I am literally building something out of nothing. So is entrepreneurship for everybody? No, it's not. But I'm sorry. It's not. And I feel like you have to genuinely have that understanding of what it comes with. It has to be a passion. It has to be something that you strongly believe in, that you really think can be made a reality. And like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. There's going to be moments and times that you just straight up want to give up. And you just no, this is dumb. I don't think I can do this anymore. But if you genuinely surround yourself with the right people, with the right energy, and you keep staying faithful and loyal to what you believe in, if you believe in God, God will most certainly carry you through. Because these days, the things that I have accomplished, that I keep straight and organized, it ain't me. It is not me, because the sanity of the amount of things that it's a lot. So I believe in God. And like I said, I feel like he's played a major part in this journey. And to see where I'm headed has kind of just been amazing in itself. But those are the things that you just really have to figure out and think of. Like, if you are choosing the journey of entrepreneurship, it's a lot. You are starting from scratch. You are creating an existence of something from nothing. It requires dedication, consistency. You got to stay faithful. You have to exercise that mental in a way that continues to make you believe that you can keep doing it. That mental is everything. Mind over matter isn't a saying for no reason. What you tell your mind, your body will feel. What you tell your mind you can do will keep you self-motivated when you might not be motivated by the people that you expect to be motivated by. So taking care of your mind, your emotional, your spiritual, self-care of the physical. God blessed us with this body. Take care of it. Self-care is a real thing. When you look good, you feel good, okay? And when you take care of your body, when you listen to your body, when you rest, if your mind is tired, relax your mind. Because a lot of the time, it's not always a physical tiredness. Sometimes you might just have to sit there and do nothing to allow your mind to turn off and slow down, so then you can reboot and think clearly. Because at times you know what you want to do and you know it could become a reality. But if you try to do too much at once, take it from me, it'll fail sometimes. And even when you fail, it's like a gut punch and it is so discouraging, but you got to keep going. And I've been real blessed to have certain people, certain energies and levels of support around me, where the times that you're going to become that negative Nancy, and that's normal. And don't be so hard on yourself when certain things don't turn out the way that you expect them. But if you got a goal in mind, keep your eye focused on that. And if you keep your eye focused on that, despite the distractions, that focus is everything. And when you get to a point of being locked in, do not lose that feeling, because being locked in is a whole separate strength that you yourself are sitting there like, the way my mind was before, there's no way that I could have surpassed that or worked through that. So stay confident in yourself, because if you believe in yourself, and whether it's a product or a service that you are providing, if you know that it could help others, if you know that it could be some kind of benefit or educate somebody, you keep going, because the world needs more of that. Buffalo needs more of that. So that's why in this season, I am real big on bringing more collaboration than competition in Buffalo. Because at the end of the day, you got to believe in yourself and know that you are the original. And anybody trying to copy you, anybody trying to do better. Listen, at the end of the day, there's always going to be somebody who looks better than you, who can do something better than you, who might be this, and that better than you. So stop competing, because you know what? There might not ever be any competition. But as long as you stay true and authentic to who you are, who you want to be, and what you want to do, that erases about half those anxieties, fears, worries, and those distractions, because that's all it is. So as long as you stay true and authentic and your intentions are pure, that energy that you exude will simply do that for you. You won't need social media to advertise that part, because all social media is a facade. Everybody's super happy and living their best life on social media. Let me see what your life is Monday through Thursday. Let me see, okay, you accomplished what you accomplished. How did you get there? What's the real of what you had to go through with people by your side, or when you were alone, or doubting yourself, or not believing that you can accomplish it? Give me that information so that when I do get to the glory, it'll make me that much more appreciative and grateful. So all I want is stop the sugarcoating, keep it real. Everything is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. And the glam just doesn't happen. That comes after the blood, sweat, tears, ugly crying, stressing, the bags under the eyes, didn't feel like doing my hair today, didn't get my nails done. All of that. That is the real, and there's nothing wrong with showing and exposing that vulnerability, because if you truly want to benefit somebody or educate them or encourage somebody, you got to give it to them all. Entrepreneurship is great because you telling me I get to make my own schedule, be flexible, make my own money, and I don't got to wait on my paycheck from anybody. That's wonderful. But not anything is free these days. Nothing comes without sacrifice. Nothing comes without some type of battle, and that's why they say you got to pick and choose your battles. So if you are for entrepreneurship, all I'm saying is you better be ready for some hard days. You better be ready for some stress. You better be ready for being exhausted. But through all of that, one of the biggest lessons that I have learned is to control the emotions. If you can master controlling the emotions that shut your mind and body down, there ain't nothing that can stand against you or defeat you. So when you learn to balance and control those emotions, that when you want to get frustrated, you want to give up, you want to resort to crying and just falling into that dark place, because that's a real thing. Falling into those dark places are a real thing. But if you got the right kind of energy, you got the right people around you, like I said, whatever you believe in, whether it's spiritual or praying or God, church, whatever it is, you better hold on to that. Because in the moments you need it most, you're going to be grateful for having it there. So nothing is perfect. Being vulnerable is perfectly natural. Failure, not accomplishing stuff, having doubt, that's all is natural. Don't be hard on yourself. And this too shall pass. Any failure, this and that, nothing lasts forever. Whether it's good, bad, amazing, great, horrible, nothing lasts forever. So everything passes. And if you tell your mind that when it's really hard or it doesn't look like it's going to happen, set your mind on this is only temporary and this is only for now. And at some point in time, it's got to look up. And if you're at rock bottom, then you can't get no lower than that. Then it's only up from there. So you can do it. That's entrepreneurship. But if that's not your cup of tea, then you might want to stick with that, corporate job or that 9-to-5. And it might just depend on the industry. And if that industry is making you happy, then kudos to you. And there is nothing wrong with that. But if it's not for you, don't let society or your job or people who are fearful that they can't take that risk or take that step themselves discourage you. If you pay attention to that intuition, if it's something you really think you can become successful off of, and success ain't only money. Success is happiness, peace, that sanity, that if I see myself helping somebody and I see relief for them and I'm helping them, that's what makes me continue to build my business and have a passion for what I do. Because your clients or customers, patients, whatever it will be, they will also sense the passion of what you're doing and if you actually enjoy it. And making them feel welcome and grateful that they are participating in your business or whatever you may be providing. So all those things fall into place and complement one another. So that's why every part of it and detail is that important. Because without people, without customers, without clients, without patients, you don't have a business. So why would you not want to take care of the very thing that is bringing you that financial relief, and just primarily worrying about the type of service and experience you are exuding to then bring you happiness and the feeling of accomplishment? That is what business should be. And not only entrepreneurship, not only small businesses. That should be the mindset and motto for corporate, even more big businesses. So it's just really important to just sit there, figure out who you are, what you want to do, what you can see yourself doing for years on end, that it's not going to get boring. It's not going to make you, dread it or not enjoy it. Or after that point, I'm not going to feel like doing it anymore. I know me, I like to work. Retirement, that's not in my mindset, because I said I could be old, have 2 hip replacements, messed up knees, whatever it may be. I'm going to still want to have some kind of purpose, because purpose is what keeps people moving forward. So with my small event planning business, that is something that I feel like could be enjoyable and helpful forever. And even if I got to be in a wheelchair hosting this event, I could still do that. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it fabulously. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is take care of your energy, that self-care, that mental, that emotional, and just that energy altogether, because a simple smile or investment in providing positive energy, you could be walking by somebody who's having a difficult day. You can just literally give them a smile, and that could change their whole mood, because that's the power of that, and it's free. So that's my spiel today. It was a little longer than half hour. That was my timer going off. But when the conversation is good, it's good. And this is the point of, my podcast. So tune in for Just Ask Em podcast. I have a few excited, interesting guests that I have coming up. And I'm looking forward to having them on. And I can't wait. And I hope you continue to tune in. I hope my viewers and listeners continue to grow. And let's keep bringing collaboration instead of competition to Buffalo. And I hope you tune in for my episode 3.